Welcome one, welcome all to Center of Light. Yanava here. Another long day with Comcast. I had 3 shows that had to not happen, that did not happen. Due to whatever it was, someone was hacking into my account, stealing my data, shutting me down. I think we might have that resolved. I'm showing no loss of frames, which means no freezing. Though it may be freezing in Memphis, Tennessee, it was 19 degrees the other day. Dear Lord. Welcome, Center of Light, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. Strap in, my brother and sister astronauts, as we launch for inner space. I have a fantastic guest, a fantastic show for you tonight. Excuse all the blinkety blinking with my green screen. I'm getting some lighting tomorrow. It's going to rectify all that. I got to breathe. I just have to breathe. If you would, please feel free to share this to you all. It's going to be very useful for your everyday applications. When my guest, Kelly, starts talking about her dream expertise. I love her. I love what she does. She does it very thoroughly, and she's very passionate about what she does. In this forum, you will see a group of links. Contact me when Keith goes live. Click on that ellipsis. Make that happen. Also, you will find a link to my YouTube channel. Please go there and subscribe. We're going to get down to Center of Light Radio business. I usually take a commercial, but we're not going to do that due to the fact that we got a little late start and technology is getting redonkulous, but as equally as it's getting good, you better be in your game. Let me tell you about my guest tonight. I'm going to be talking about the hero's journey dream oracle. Kelly Sullivan Walden is on a mission, she says, to awaken the world to the power of dreams. She is a certified clinical hypnotherapist whose unique approach to dream therapy led her to become a trusted advisor, coach, and consultant, enriching the lives of thousands of individuals, including Fortune 500 executives, UN ambassadors, celebrities, entrepreneurs, inner city schools, that's a big yay for me, and stay-at-home moms, another big yay. She is an inspirational speaker, workshop facilitator, and founder of Dream Life Coach Training, an online training program to empower you, people just like you, to develop dream mastery. The host of Ask Dr. Dream on Unity Online Radio. I'm ready to get in there and be on her show, that's for sure. Kelly is the founder of the Dream Project, a youth-driven, adult-supportive initiative that backs the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by empowering, there's that word again, that's why her and I connect, young leaders age 5 to 25 by inspiring radical diversity. I love that. That's another one of my words. Dear Lord, we're connected at the hip. Radical. Method is awesome if you need method. If you could jump off the cliff, jump off the cliff. Be radical. Radical diversity and extreme self-responsibility. Her dream insights have been featured on many national talk shows. I've seen her, including the Dr. Oz Show, Ricky Lake, The Real, Bethany, Coast to Coast. I am going to be on Coast to Coast soon. I've been working on it for years. Hadn't gotten there yet. I don't know the way in, but I will.
Let's talk.
Yeah, I love that. You're so lovely. And Hallmark's Home and Family. In addition to her latest work of Heart, The Hero's Journey Dream Oracle Cards, Kelly is the author of Dream Oracle Cards and 10 books. Wow. Including bestsellers, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and the Unexplainable, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Dreams and Premonitions. I had the strangest dream. It's all in your dreams. Dreaming Heaven. The Love, Sex, and Relationship Dream Dictionary. Oh my God, what a work that has to be. Dreaming. Discover Your Inner Goddess Queen. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Dream lover, so I don't have to dream alone. Welcome to Center of Light, precious girl.
Thank you so much. What a joy to be with you. Okay, I heard you referred to yourself as Keith in the third person, and then you had a different name.
I did.
So what is that all about?
Oh, you're starting trouble already, are you?
Inquiring minds want to know. I want to know who I'm talking to. I mean, I've talked to Keith many times.
I've been going through a very major transition for quite a few years. One day, a friend of mine was out of town. I was watching over their house, sitting on the sofa. Long story short, Something said, get off the sofa, Keith, do something with your time, because I was bored to death. Go sit by the fireplace, turn your phone on, talking to your phone. I had no idea. I just did it. And I began a series called Burst of Light. They were instructional at first. And then Swamiji Viswayogi, don't have his picture, darn, shame on Keith. God realized man from India. I started to have the blessed opportunity to be in his presence. And he stroked my spine one day and started to awaken my kundalini. And when I was a kid, I heard the name Yana, not a kid, when I first started my metaphysical practice. I went to meditation, I said, do I have a name at a deeper level? And it said Yanava. And I carried this name in different forms for many years. The Yana O, Center of Light, people call me Yana. And it kept going. So one day when Swamiji came to town, I was able to ask him a personal question. He gave me an interview. And I showed him the word. And I said, what does this mean? And it almost took him back. Keep in mind, this man is divine conscious. He looked at me sort of like, how do you know that? Kind of thing. And he proceeded to tell me that Yanava is sacred seed syllables. It's the sound of everyone's soul. Ya, John, Yana, Yahweh, Ah, Paramahansa, Yogananda, Buddha, Krishna, all these Ahs. God is Ah. And he proceeded to tell me that Ya is the sound of the heart. It's God, it's your will. Ya. Na is the mind when used balanced, discernment, reason. And Va is the backbone. Erect backbone it is. So Yanava is our primordial self. And when we Yanava ourselves in the morning and in the evening, we become congruent with soul. And so recently, last week, I heard Keith, drop Keith. Answer to it, use it in certain situations. Shift into, and it's not really about the name change, look at me. It's truly a shifting of an attitude about carrying such a torch.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that's quite the hero's journey you just spoke about. That's kind of it. And claiming that name that is not just the name, but it's symbolic of something, and it carries a frequency that's an elixir, as they say in the hero's journey, that can be shared with others. I can definitely feel a different resonance between Keith and Yanava. It's quite magnificent. So bravo to you for that courage. I know the ego says, no, do the same thing, don't stand out, don't do something people might judge and whatever, they might not understand, but yet here you are.
You know, Kelly, I'm starting to believe, and in fact, I'm almost sure of it, that if we use the term ego in certain settings to make a certain point, I get it. I'm starting to come into the realization there is no such thing as ego. There just isn't. In fact, you support and give life to the ego by claiming there is one.
Interesting.
How did this all start for you, Kelly?
Which part? Which part of which thing?
The coming into the realization of who you are, what you are going to be doing, what you are doing now. Was it early in your childhood, mid-20s, 30s? Was it a bad experience? How did this all get started for you?
Oh, how did it get started? My sister is staying with me right now. I often talk about my sister as it relates to my path, and she actually opened the door to metaphysics for me. Although I feel like I was raised Catholic and always loved going to church when there was no one there. I didn't like the mass so much. I did love the silent part of mass where we could just kneel and pray, but all the wah 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 just felt like that just didn't feel like it had anything for me, but the silence did. So I think I don't know, when I was very little, I was like 5 maybe, when all the kids were being asked what they wanted to do for a living, I said, I either want to be a nun or I want to own a liquor store. Either one. I'll take either one because they kind of lead to the same like the same drunkenness. So I didn't become a nun and I don't own a liquor store, but I think there was definitely a sense of feeling the presence of something higher. Entire 20s.
So Kelly, if you would call me
Okay.
back. There
Well, I'll
you
be
are.
right
There
back
you are.
then. Then we can
I,
do
I,
something to change that.
I had my mic on mute, so here we go. It's just a learning curve. It's muscle memory. You have to get these things moving and click, click, and move, move. So
Yeah.
please continue with your last statement again, please.
I don't know which one that was, but I just know that I started paying attention to energy and a higher consciousness. I used to pray a lot when I was a kid. Didn't do it during my 20s. I was very much focused on the external, and I was pursuing acting, and I loved all of that. And there was a spiritual component to it, but mostly we could say it was pretty much driven by the ego. Am I with you still, Keith, or do you lose me?
I am here.
Hello? Am I still here with you?
I'm here.
Okay, good. And then a crisis, then crisis is always help. It's like a cry for ISIS. It's not the, not the contemporary ISIS, but the goddess ISIS. Um, it was when I had a crisis with an acting teacher who was somebody that became a god to me, who I thought was the be all end all of everything, gave him all my power. And he definitely took it and milked it for all it was worth. And I was left feeling like I needed to die. And in that place of contemplating death, I became simultaneously open to the signs, to the miracles, to the people that showed up like angels. And suddenly there was one thing after the next. There was 12-step programs, there was hypnosis, there was church, there was spirituality, there was the Kabbalah, there was human design. There was like one thing that led to another and another. And pretty soon I felt like I'm good, and I'm full, and that was definitely the beginning. And I feel like my dreams have been part and parcel of that journey. When I've been really in my spirit, in my spiritual path, my dreams are vivid. And when they start to wane, I feel like in some way I'm not quite as connected as I need to be. So my dreams are a telltale sign of how well I'm doing. And they've become a really important part of keeping on track on a daily basis of what spirit, soul, higher consciousness is opening up for me.
How does it feel to be dying? Right?
Yeah. Well,
Everything we thought was real and solid and the bling bling. It when it begins to die, life just gets really, really good, really quick, doesn't it?
right, right. There's a Julia Cameron quote that says, "Nothing dies harder than a bad idea."
Ooh,
And and it's like
ooh.
the bling, my precious, blah, where is it? There can be so much suffering, and I've had several cycles of it where it's like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. And there's the giveth and it will always be this way. And then, oh, where are you going? And then in the letting go, it's like, oh, thank God. Here I stand. I still stand. And I didn't need that stuff. Turns out I'm okay without it. Turns out I'm freer without it. And turns out now there's new things to invent and create. And oh, thank God. I had a dream that I wrote a poem about a while ago that was kind of about that crazy releasing and letting go. And maybe at some point after the break, I'll share that with you if you'd like.
I recently had a dream.
Yeah,
I
do
was hanging
tell.
out with some people.
Oh,
There was a sister energy. Things got a little intimate.
oh,
It wasn't detailed, but it was
mhm.
intimate.
Okay.
And I get out of that experience and I'm walking wherever I'm walking outside and I find wads of money rolled up.
Nice.
And it could have been, I would say it was hundreds, but even if it was hundreds, the roll was that big. and then we're
Nice.
everywhere. And, help me, what is that? I know it
That's
represents
that's a
abundance.
cool dream.
Yeah,
That's what
right?
that
On
is.
any level.
Okay, so let's just start with the sister energy, and then it gets intimate. So from one perspective, everyone and everything in our dream is an aspect of ourselves. That's one perspective. It's not always. It can certainly be about people that we're in relationship with and things and circumstances that are happening in our waking life. But I would say from one perspective, this is about you finding tremendous harmony between the masculine and feminine aspect of yourself. Intimacy in a dream is about intimacy with between the opposite aspects of yourself. So the masculine part being who you identify with, somebody who's demonstrative with his energy and da da da, taking on the world and powerful and very much in this world. The feminine aspect being more ethereal, etheric, more energetic, more emotional, more mysterious. And I think our dreams are always trying to get us to make love with those opposite aspects, so that it's like kind of like the prize, the reward for having found such beautiful harmony with yourself is these wads of cash. I think our dreams do this little thing, kind of like in a game that we would play, where ding ding ding, like you're doing good, and now let's give you a reward so that you know you're on track. And in our Western world, almost nothing says reward like cold hard cash, and a bunch of it. So yeah, so first thing, I would, if it were my dream, it represents abundance, but it also, like, money in our culture is also power. Like, if I have money, then I can go places, I can do things, I can create whatever I want. I'm not
AKA
limited,
freedom.
AKA freedom. Yes, power, AKA freedom. So it isn't
Like
about
it.
money. It's like, but so it's having that deep feeling tone of what that's like. To me, this is one of those dreams that you take, you meditate on, you milk it for all it's worth, and then you manifest a dream from inside that dream. So you think about the things that you're working on in your life, and you energize them with this feeling of already being so wealthy. And then there's no longer such a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Like you were saying, you want to be on George Norrie's show, Coast to Coast. So you imagine, okay, coast to coast is my goal. But here I am. I'm this wealthy dude. I just had this wonderful love connection with this woman. I'm full. I'm whole. Wow. Coast to coast is like icing on my cake, but I already have a full cake, and that just takes it up a notch. So it's not like it would be giving you something that would make you whole because you're empty. It would be adding icing to your cake. But you, in some way, when you think about this dream, just in your face, just as you were describing it, when you were talking about that cold hard cash this like intimate connection, I could see you like beaming. So that's you with your energy vibrating higher. So every time you think about that dream, you're kind of building the muscle of having this vibration, being able to handle it. It's not a matter of is it okay if you get some good things in life? It's like, can you handle them? Can you handle them? And you're proving by being able to hang out in this resonance for a few minutes a day, or even just every once in a while. It's like you're building that muscle. You can handle it. Let's give it to him. He can handle this. He's not going to self-destruct. He's not going to fall apart. So awesome dream. And when somebody shares a really cool dream, it's for everybody. You don't need anybody who's watching or listening doesn't need to have dream FOMO. You can have, this is partly your dream too. So take it, share it, run with it.
You see, I heard everything you said, but hearing it, it felt better. Where you come from, where you were coming from as you were sharing this with me, felt better to me. I heard what it made me feel like more than I actually heard the words. A
Mm,
question I asked you on our last interview, and I want to ask you again
mm,
because it's a very powerful question. Working with dreams as long as you have, not only the knowledge of it, the wisdom of it, the study of it, but the actual experiential. Do
mhm.
you find that you're dreaming when you're sleeping and you're dreaming when you're awake are crossfading?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Crossfading. I like that. It just feels like the lines really blur. And then when I add the layer of the hero's journey, I can that's one other layer that weaves itself into dreams and into waking life. It is a blend. And I feel like the truth is we are always dreaming. So even like there was a moment today where I've got some people that have come to stay with me, and it's we're all kind of living in close quarters to a certain degree, and not everybody is getting along. So I was like, okay, this is my dream, these are these aspects of me, I need to change this dream, I need to like whew. And I feel like I brought in some different energy, and I could see that it was having a ripple effect. So practicing dream work, it's hard after a while to not see everything like a dream, and to use it as an opportunity to take self responsibility. Because in dreams, we're trained, or I'm trained, to see everyone and everything in my dream as an aspect of myself, whether it be the financial windfall, whether it be the person I'm making out with, or whether it be the bird I'm flying on the back of, whatever it is, or if I'm arguing with someone, it's all me. So how can I just get bigger arms to wrap around all of this and give it all a big hug? It's hard to do that in dreams and not carry it over into waking life. And to me, it's one of the most special things about doing dream work is that you no longer really see other. Like there's no Keith or Yavaha. What's your
Y-
name again?
Yanava. It's under my picture.
Yanava. Yanava.
Uh-huh.
And there's like they're not
Actually, he
separate to
told me
me.
it's pronounced Yaha Naha Vaha. He says the
Oh,
ha got lost a long time
Yanava.
ago.
I love that.
Vivi.
Yanavaha. Well, I'll start with Yanava and then I'll
Yeah,
just
right,
add.
right.
Ah, ah, ah. It's wonderful. It's
I want
wonderful.
to put a question to you. Then we're going to take a short pause, and I want to come back and start talking about your fucking awesome cards that you're going to be
Yay,
sending me soon. The
yay,
question came
yes.
from the chat room from Callan Renando. She asked a question: do you ever get tired of living out your dreams?
Oh my
Right?
God.
What a
Do I ever get
question.
tired of living out my dreams? Wow, I really want to take her question in. I can't say I do. I feel like no, because I feel like it's an upward spiral. I feel like a magical treasure hunt every day. Like there's always some piece of my nighttime dream that is the piece that I hang out with in the day, that is like the part that I grab onto, and I wait and I look for, gosh, there was a TV show called Weeds out a while ago, and the introduction,
Yes.
they would always, like as they were rolling the opening credits, they would show you some weird thing like a ring or a flag, and you knew later on in the show that ring was going to show up or that flag would show up, and it
I
would
never
mark
caught
us.
that. I never
Yes.
caught that.
Go back and look. But I feel like that's what happens in dreams. Like I get a little preview of something and I know what to look out for, and to give it a bit more importance and to not take it for granted and to give it more of my full attention. And I feel like it just brings me deeper into a place of fulfillment. I mean, I'm even when I'm challenged, and I have my challenges, things don't always go my way, but I feel like even in the middle of them, there is deep joy and fulfillment and a sense of having my soul back in my body and in my being. And Robert Moss would say, once you get your soul back, the game is all about growing your soul. How big and fat can it get? And so that's kind of the ride I'm on. And the fatter and the bigger it gets, the more juicier things are, and the less fear and the less drama and the more love and the more appreciation. So to answer your question, no, I don't get tired of it. It keeps getting juicier. So why would I?
I echo that. Everyone, Keith Anthony Blanchard here. Yanava. Take a short pause, listen to some Lavender Soul. Everybody likes Lavender Soul. We're coming out with a new album really soon. Maybe 6 months. We're going to start working on it in the next couple of weeks. I look forward to getting back into the studio with these world-class Memphis Symphony Orchestra players. Wow, it doesn't get any finer than that. and you humble yourself, and the connection begins to happen, and the songs begin to come out, and they become fashioned and married forever. And it's the music you're going to hear now. Just remember, when you begin to realize who walks beside you, you'll never be afraid ever again. Who is walking beside you? A higher version of your own beautiful self. You at your essence. Yanava, if you will. Everyone has a divine lover. See you shortly.
I will be with you always, until the end of time. You will never be alone. I am. All of my life, all of my days, I feel you there beside me. All of my life, all through my days, I've seen places far away. Wondering just when, time and again, I have come to know you. Wondering just when, time and again, you are there beside me. When I create, when I feel love, whenever I feel you with me, I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. Help me know that. It is my will that you know me. I will not hide my love from you. You create your reality and every moment by your own perceptions, your judgments, actions. Peace is a state of mind. Bliss is a state of heart. Heaven is a state of being. Deep in my heart, I know you're there. I can always feel you guiding my life to see the light that will lead me to the truth. When I create, when I feel love, whenever I feel you with me, I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. For you are my mother, my divine lover. I celebrate times of my life. There is only you and me. Help me live.
Hello, beautiful friends. Keith Anthony Blanchard here with an amazing product offer. We have been hearing about hemp oil for the last couple of years and its potential. Let me introduce you to my dear friend, Miss Jackie Atwell. Our oil helps bring your body back to a state of wellness. It is also used as a preventative from illness. It works by bringing the body back to homeostasis and balance. It's a natural, organic, non-GMO, full-spectrum oil. third-party tested and comes with a certificate of analysis posted on our information page. Awesome anti-inflammatory and antioxidant. If you are suffering in silence, give it a try. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. 60-day empty bottle money-back guaranteed refund. To order, go to www.hempworks.com/Jackie Atwell. That's www.hempworks.com/Jackie Atwell. Welcome back to Center of Light, Center of Divine Unfoldment and Reinforcement. That's what this is all about. Unfolding who we are and reinforcing it with some serious punch. Tonight is no different. I want to take this time to say how grateful I am to Spirit, to myself, for finally breathing and allowing the vessel to open up to bring through a non-interrupted show with frames freezing. I think I figured it out. Someone was stealing my data. I caught them. Blocked them out. I'm grateful. Thank you, Spirit. Let's get down to Center of Light Radio business with my guest, Miss Kelly Sullivan Walden. And we're talking about everything dreams at night. When you sleep, as well as your dreams in the waking world. Let's quote that waking world, that wake world, right? Hi, right. Precious.
Hi, Precious. I love your new background.
Thank you. I love the energy that just oozes off of you effortlessly. You know, my friend of mine, Brian Harden, says, when you smile, if you can make a smile, there's no way you can have a negative thought.
Oh,
there's no way.
That's a good one.
And so, like, also, right, Kelly, with Namaskar, this position here, with the hands, Namaskar, you can't have a negative thought. You just can't do it.
Here, let's try. Nope. Okay, I'm really trying.
It's tough. You have to literally
because
squint out.
That is really like aligning, and it seems like the negativity can't get in when you're balanced. That's why that dream that you had, where you like had this intimate moment with this woman, there was a reward. And I think our dreams do that. It's like, yeah, more of that. It's kind of like giving it, like, let's give him a little cheese. So he'll keep doing more of whatever he's doing. So not just a reward in the dream, but a reward in your waking life for what produced that. Your dreams are always reflecting what's going on in your waking life. So you're on track, dude. Yay. Yay.
Thank you. Let's talk about this phenomenal new thing you got. A dream. What is it again? Let me get it. The journey of help me. The hero's journey oracle. Dream oracle. I don't have my notes. Yes, please, by all means, show off that thing and be happy about it.
This is Rasuli is the artist. He created these babies. I'll just give you. I'm going to flash you, Keith. You and all your people ready?
Hang on, let me get my glasses.
Okay, get them on. Get them on. Ready? Here we go.
Wow.
Okay.
I love your display.
And they're falling all over the place.
And so tell me about them. What are they? I mean, they're dream oracle cards. Are they sort of like tarot, but obviously geared towards dreaming? How many cards are there?
So there are 52 cards in this deck, and so my first oracle deck was the dream oracle cards, and those were based on dream symbols, the 53 most common dream symbols among modern dreamers. This deck, the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle, also contains dream symbols, but it also has a layer of the stages of the hero's journey, because we're all on a hero's journey. We're all heroes, and this deck is meant to help you become conscious of the journey that you're on and to have you feel more peaceful. Once we know, to me, the value of knowing about the hero's journey is that it brings consciousness to what you're doing. It makes sense of some of the difficulties, some of the stumbles, some of the technology blinking out, it's like it's all part of the journey. You're tested so that you grow and learn. And there's 12 stages. And to me, the value of understanding the hero's journey is that you can stay on track a little more easily when you have a little GPS. You don't feel like you're just lost in the weeds. Let's just give up and go away. You know that you're on track and everything's happening for you. And our dreams actually reveal the dream symbols that come through let us know what stage of the hero's journey we're on. For example, a dream of a windfall, like you, would be the reward stage of the journey. It's where you've just come through some kind of a difficulty, some kind of an ordeal, some kind of a challenge, and you prevailed. You stuck to your guns. You became a stronger spiritual warrior, and then you get rewarded. On the hero's journey, and the cards all talk about this in one way or another. The hero's journey doesn't end when the hero gets rewarded with consciousness or with strength. The hero's journey is all about, now that you've got this wisdom, you got to bring it back to the people. You've got to return back home with the elixir, figure out a way to take this
elixir. Oh, wow.
Isn't that a great word?
Oh my God. Yeah, it's like amaranth. You know what the amaranth is? Divine nectar.
Oh, nice.
Right.
Yes. Oh, say it again. Say it again.
Amaranth.
Yes, amaranth. But once you have the elixir, it's not enough that you have it. It's about cultivating it, embodying it, so that you share it, and not share it in a proselytizing way, but that you beam it so that you encourage others and you inspire them to go on their hero's journey and get their own elixir, and maybe share some of yours. So we can pull a card if you'd like, and you can get a little flavor of what that's like if you want.
I would like that. And I love what you said, and I echo it 100%, is you have to share it because it doesn't belong to you. The fact that it was given to you obligates you to pass the torch. If you don't,
my God,
you
hilarious.
Can't receive the torch. When you're available and ready to pass the torch is when the elixir is given. What is that?
This is the card. It's called a splendid torch. That's the name of this card. And it fell out of my hands onto the ground. So we're going to go with, this is going to be the card that I'll read.
Oh my gosh, let's do it.
Splendid torch. So this is, the keynote is blaze brightly. It's card 52. So it's towards the end of the journey. And
that would be a 7.
Oh, there you go. That's true. 52, where are you? Not Scooby-Doo, but 52. Okay, splendid torch. So there's a little quote that goes with each one, and this one happens to be George Bernard Shaw, and it says, "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one. I want to be thoroughly used up when I die, for the harder I work, the more I live. I rejoice in life for its own sake. Life is no brief candle for me. It's a sort of splendid torch, which I have got a hold of for the moment, and I want to make it burn as brightly as possible before handing it on to future generations." George Bernard Shaw. The message is, reflect upon your hero's journey and recognize that you are more yourself now than you've ever been. And there's more where that came from. After all, the end of one journey is the beginning of the next. But before you embark upon your next adventure, take a moment to acknowledge yourself for participating in this quest and for keeping your eternal flame of purpose burning bright. At this point, you don't have to wait for others to light your fire, because the permission you need has already been granted. No, the true joy comes from being a splendid torch that lights the way for others. The dream symbol is fire. Dreams of fire reflect that you are hot stuff. Your self-expression has been ignited and it's running full throttle. You may be amidst major transformation, moving from one stage of your life to the next, like a caterpillar or a patakiller, becoming the butterfly. Perhaps you are unrecognizable to your former self, and maybe you even have a new name. Unleash your power mindfully and realize that with heat, power comes responsibility and maturity. Burning away limiting beliefs and self-concepts that no longer serve your highest expression is an alchemical initiation. The mantra is, I know how to light myself on fire, and I burn brightly as a celebration of life.
You have no idea how you have just took a spiritual energy snapshot and recited it to me. Everything you said, even the key words you use: fire, burn. In fact, I make this post all the time. Don't put out my fire. It's a holy fire. Let it burn. The change of name, all these things that you're saying.
You picked it. You picked it. That's so what so there's synchronicity that happens with when you pick these cards, and it's affirming to certain the things that are the highest. Like there's some things that are going on in your life that it probably didn't speak to, but it spoke to the things that are the most vital right now and the things that are representative of what's most important. It's feeding energy, partly on the level of dreams and partly on the level of your hero's journey, so that you can emerge and feel more conscious and more present and more grateful and more lucid as you enjoy this journey and bring more of it to others. I think we can often be scared of our power. I was on my radio show today. We were talking about being lucid and how some people get so scared when there's a lucid dream. It's like, ah, and then they run away from it. The goal is to get comfortable in that power so that we don't have to sabotage. We don't have to push
You
it
see,
away.
when you said that word comfortable, you did this little sultry, sexy, sensual that you said, get so comfortable. No kidding. Because for a lot of people to be in such a way, sexual and sensual and salt, and just fall and doing that little wiggle you did, that gets uncomfortable for them. So they never allow themselves the bliss that exists when you just kind of wind down into that little kundalini spot that wants to light you on fire.
And we can start where we're at. That's the thing. The hero's journey begins in the ordinary world where we feel like we're just like ho hum, business as usual, nothing much is going on. And then the hero's journey starts in a very ordinary way. So we don't have to be necessarily all brightly lit and sparkly. I mean, the stage that you happen to be at, symbolized by this dream you shared with me, is you happen to be at one of the later stages of the hero's journey where you've come through the ordeal, you've gotten your insight, and you are reveling in your elixir, and you are, even with your show, you're sharing your elixir with the world. So this is easy for you. I mean, and the next hero's journey, the next level up is on its way. But right now you're in a place of mastery. So it's great. And some people might be feeling a little stiff and awkward about it, but that's okay, because we all go through those stages. We just take the next little level up from where we are. All good.
Your word usage is very, very powerful. I love the George Carlin thing. I love the Bill Hicks thing. Words, people will say, they say something and you kind of call them on it in a nice way. They say, well, that's just the word I use. Well, that is exactly the word you use. And, and I understand they may have a limited vocabulary. It's not a judgment, but so you have a limited frame of reference and you're tossing out words. I get that. But your word usage is such a pillar. It's truly, like I told you earlier, when you read back to me, it wasn't the words that was tantalizing and that carrot that I'm trying to, follow. It's where you came from that took me to a very, you helped me to fall further into the river of consciousness, the moving river.
Wow.
On a grace raft towards the shore of infinity.
Oh, talk about words. Oh my God. On the grace raft.
Right?
Moving towards infinity. That's like
on the shore of infinity.
Shore of infinity.
So is this what dreams? So is this how dreams tie with the oracle cards?
Well, I mean, so to me, the whole purpose of having an oracle deck is that it gives people something to do in their waking life to access the mystical so easily. Like all we had to do was shuffle the deck, pick a card, bam, there's this mystical opening. I think the average person has a mystical experience maybe every once in a while. It's kind of like it has to happen to them. They don't know that they have the ability to call it on, to bring it. And it can be done by very simple things. I mean, you opened up your show with a little breathing and a little and I mean, your backdrop. There's like certain things that you're kind of, it's all over, it's all around you. But I think the average person needs a little support, because the more we access that spiritual realm, the better we are. So the oracle cards, I think, are meant to be this something we can physically touch, and something we can read, and something, I mean, the card's meant to be carried around with you. Pick one for the day. I know some people that just pick it up in the morning,
So
meditate
there
on it.
really is no formal way to do it. You just, though there may be a guide, say I get tarot cards, and there's a tarot dictionary that says you lay out this spread, and that works because there's a science behind it. And so
Right.
this is a one card a day kind of thing if you need
Well,
to, as your
yes.
meditation and your prayer.
I think the rules are there ain't no rules. So
Yeah, I
in my
love it.
guidebook,
Love it.
the guidebook is, it's like 30 pages. I've got or more. It's like, oh my God, no, it's 150 pages. Jesus, I've got a 150-page guidebook. Whoa. So there's a lot of stuff in here that gives you the deeper understanding and different ways you can play with it. But I give people that want to do something a little bit more structured, I give you a structure. Here, go for it. Do it this way. But I also say you can't screw it up. You could just like touch the cards and see which one falls on the ground, or which one doesn't fall on the ground, or, but at the very least, pick up one a day and see how it might give you a little bit of insight, a little synchronicity, a little support that might tie into what you dreamt the night before. If you're puzzled by what you dreamt, like, God, why did I dream about saran wrap? What does that have to do with anything? But you pick up a card and it's like, oh, don't conceal yourself. Don't preserve your, it's like, oh my God, I'm preserving myself. I'm hiding my gifts for one fine day. Oh my God. So that all of a sudden there's some little connection that it can make. And it gets you thinking symbolically. When you think symbolically, like you just did when you talked about the shores of infinity, it's like all of those words are powerful, potent words that it's not about the words themselves. It's about the place that they point you toward. It's like a direction.
I totally agree. I love figurative probably more than literal, because if I tell you a bunch of words and giving you information, but parables, ideas, there are words involved, so you have one layer. But the picture it paints adds another dimension, another level of awakeness. So you hear a greater dialogue versus yak, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm telling you a bunch of things that goes into your ear, tickles the hairs in your ears, processes through the brain, the gray matter. You go, well, I understand what you're saying. Understand what you're saying is a beautiful thing. But when you can add a layer of, I feel what you're saying, I know where you're coming from.
Right.
It's
right. And if I had only one day to live, I wouldn't spend it on, okay, then turn right and then turn left and then you see the bill. Like, no, I would spend it connecting with people, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. And one way to do that is through the words that we use that can evoke that kind of energy. So yeah, you're right. It is important to use your words as wisely as possible. And I never think about the words that I'm about to use. I mean, it's not something, there's no script. In fact, when I have a script, it's a little scary. I'm not that good with a script. But I think, to me, if my heart is open, I can trust what comes out of my mouth. If I'm tense, if my heart for whatever reason has been hurt, or I'm feeling protective, defensive, then I shouldn't speak, because what will come out of my mouth will be staccato, and it will probably sting or hurt. So I think it's trying to do what I can to get into that.
You are truly illumined. My mentor many years ago said to me, he says, if you're going to do a speaking engagement, or just speak whoever, or any situation that you may be comfortable, this echoes what you just said about, when I'm not in my heart, my words are sharp. They're not fluid. There's no dovetailing. There's no crossfading to where it's a smooth thing. It's always a staccato pop, 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 pop. He said, when you have a hard time speaking, just like namaskar, and just like that smile, because you can't have a negative thought when you smile, nor namaskar. He said, when you have a difficulty being present with yourself and making things smooth, he said, just put your hand right here and start talking. It changes the whole thing.
Yeah, it's very true. And then we don't have to figure it all out.
It's that connection.
Yeah. And I think some people, my husband actually often prefers silence. And I think that we don't have to use words in order to communicate profoundly. And maybe when we become even more enlightened, I think even the symbolic words that we use, as much as like a symbol conveys 1,000 words. But I think when I'm really in the zone, even a symbol doesn't contain what's wanting to be expressed. It's like just you just want to beam at each other and let that expand frequency. But for now, words are pretty cool, and it's good that we can, and that technology is cool, and to be able to create what you're doing with the intention that you have, I think we do transmit something. I think we all need this. So anyway, I think it's a fun thing to do. I'm loving.
What else
being
is
with
there
you.
to do? I mean, we
know.
sat on God's lap for eternity. And we're like, now what? And it's like, well, here's a radical idea for you. Would you like to be encapsulated in a meat suit? What's a meat suit? You'll find out when you get there. Are you willing to go check it out? Sure, I'm up for a good ride. See you in a little while.
That's beautiful. I love that.
So, Kelly, we all dream about water. And of course, it depends on the situation, what's happening all around you in the experience, the lucid experience. Or as if it was a dream and you watched a movie, as if you watched a movie and you remember and you wake up as if you went to a theater. But water, what does it represent overall? Because we all dream about water. Some it's turbulent, some it's a beautiful pond. What does it mean?
Oh, yeah. I think water is such a powerful symbol. And I always tell people that any symbol is really up to you to identify your associations with. But if you feel perplexed, like, well, what does water mean on a more global scale, on an archetypal level? From my perspective, water represents the feminine. It's the ultimate symbol of the feminine energy that's within women and within men. It's our flow, it's our emotions. So the energy that we feel when we're in the water in our dream tells us a lot about how we're doing in relationship with our emotions, with the deep end of who we are, with our feminine energy. Some people love it. They feel like they're at home in water, that the dolphins and the whales, that's more home than being on dry land. And there's some people that are terrified of the water. It's always turbulent. It's always a tsunami, or they're drowning. So I always tell people it's all, no matter what the dream is, it's a good dream, because it's giving you a litmus test about how you're doing with your water. I was in New Zealand a few months ago, meeting with a tribe called the Waitaha, and they're a nonviolent tribe, and Waitaha means water holder, water container, because they believe we are almost all water. And of course, we know that there's the science that backs that up, and there's Emoto from they believe are not just containers, and they ask each other, how's your water doing? How are you holding your water today? And it's a reminder, oh yeah, you got to hold your water. Are you letting it spill all over everything? Is it rocky? Is it peaceful? Is it smooth? Are you stealing water from someone else? Are you sharing your water? Is it healthy water? Is it clean? How's your water today? So to me, it's so wonderful. Water is really not just our emotions, not just our psyche, but it's really how we're doing as humans, how we're flowing. So how's that? Does that give you an insight? What do you think it means?
I never saw it that way, but I love that you said water is feminine. It's the divine feminine. Well, what happens when we are born? We're in a sack of water. Water is life-giving. Mother is life-giving. We are 3/4 water.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's so to me, it's about what a dream is important, because it gives us it's kind of like looking in the mirror and finding out how we're doing. Like, did I put myself together okay, or do I have makeup all over all the wrong places? The dream is saying, like, you're either in sync or you're off, so that you can see and you can self-correct, you can adjust. So if you have a water dream and it's joyous, if it's lovely, then know you're on track in some way, just like the dream you had, Keith. It's like you're getting an affirmation that you're like, that keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. Do more of that. One of the best dreams I ever had was
you just read my mind. I was about to ask you, would you please share before commercial break one of your most profound experiences?
We're so in the water together. We're
yeah, right?
together. I love you. That's hilarious. I was in water. I actually started off like with water up to my belly, and I was like in Hawaii. There was no one around. I had the ocean to myself. And I was feeling so good and so connected to the ocean. And then all of a sudden, this dolphin kind of flipped up in front of me. And I just was so delighted by this beautiful dolphin. I couldn't believe it just kind of was performing for me. And it was so lovely. And then another dolphin showed up and another one. And pretty soon there are hundreds of dolphins flipping and twirling around me. And I'm completely ecstatic. And then I burst like with so much that all of a sudden I dive into the left. It was very specific. It was like this. And I dove into the water, and then I became one of them. And then we were off. We were swimming as a pod, and I was connected to them. We were swimming so fast, all of us in sync. And I had this thought, this is divine community. You're unique, but you're going in the same direction together, and you're intuitive, and you're flowing. Oh my God, this was so ecstatic that I was crying tears of joy in my dream. I woke up from that dream feeling so high and so electric, but yet I couldn't see. My contacts were so blurry. And so I changed my contacts, put in a new pair, couldn't see. I mean, everything was blurry. I went to the eye doctor the next day thinking I got to get a stronger pair of contact lenses. And no, I didn't need to get stronger. I needed to get a lesser severe form of contact lenses because my eyesight improved overnight having that dream.
Wow. Guess what my spirit animal is? I don't follow that way, but if I had a spirit animal, guess what it would be?
Dolphin?
Correct.
Whale?
Correct. It's cetaceans. Cetacean, cetaceans, however you pronounce it. And I had an experience many years ago.
Yeah.
It was conscious because many people ask, well, how do you know you're having a lucid experience versus just a dream? Well, a lucid experience is you're absolutely present. You are present with what's happening. A dream is when you wake up in the morning, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Kelly, or support or deny. A dream is when you wake up in the morning and you remember the movie you watched in the movie theater last night while your body was at rest. When I was in this experience, I was so hyper conscious. I was in the ocean, under the water, 75 feet. And the first thing I tell myself is, I can breathe. I have no issue with breathing. So I became conscious in the fact that I am present and I don't need to breathe. And something says look up, and I look above me, and it is a blue whale. I was conscious. I was truly in this place in the ocean, having this lucid, very real experience with just being in total awe of this majestic creature.
Oh my God.
And it wasn't a dream. People go, how do you know it wasn't a dream? Because the same way you know when you had a dream, I'm telling you that same knowing exists in me and says it wasn't a dream.
Or it was a dream, but just because it was a dream doesn't mean it's real. I think some people, when they say, oh, that was just a dream, it's kind of like, oh, that didn't count. It didn't happen. No, dreams are happenings. They are a real, valid reality, and they continue on a parallel plane. They're not over just when we wake up. So I would say, sure, it was a dream and it was a happening and it was valid, and it may have happened while you were sleeping, but you tapped in to a parallel plane where this was happening, and it was through your dream state. Because often when we're dreaming and sleeping at night, our critical mind that can be judgmental is at bay. It's in a state of abeyance. It's asleep. So that's when the wild stuff can happen, and we can connect with this more easily. But in the hero's journey, there's a stage called the belly of the whale, and it's all about the water. And it's about, to me, my experience of it is, it's an invitation to go deep. Some people, when they think, oh, I'm in the belly of the whale, It's like
Jonah.
I'm having a dark night of the soul. And yeah, because Jonah was running from his mission, running from his calling. And really it's about you can run, but you can't hide from your depth. And
Ooh,
why would you want to?
wow.
Like dive
In,
in.
in in my book, The Divine Principle, Spirit and I are having a dialogue, and Spirit lays out a bunch of things, and I said, but aren't dreams metaphor for something else? And it says, and your life on earth is not, right?
That's good.
And
Oh,
so
that's
when you
good.
talked about the whale being in the belly of the whale, well,
Yeah.
the whale is majestic. So
Yeah.
being in the belly of the whale is majestic,
Yeah.
and being under the water would be the depth of the majesty that we can dwell, be swallowed up by the divine ocean, and just it's kind of like being in the womb again of a more majestic creature. Majestic meaning
Yeah.
large, all these metaphors for grandiose in size.
Yeah. Exactly. I
Wow.
think if you have a profound relationship with the whale energy, with the ocean energy, with the dark, deep end of the ocean, then you basically emerge fearless. And by virtue of that, you are free and you can then play. And you've got nothing to run from, nothing to hide from. It's kind of like life is on your side. So whatever's here, bring it. What's the gift? What's the gift? What's the gift? What's the gift? So there's no, I mean, it doesn't mean that there's not little bumps along the way, but you look at the bumps and you go, okay, there's a gift here. And to me, what you just spoke to, Keith, is the crux of the whole enchilada. It's the whole thing. If we can drop in, I mean, in our Western culture, we're conditioned to think that it's all about the bright and shiny. It's all about above land and being productive, powerful, bada bing, bada boom. That's life and that matters. The deep end, going deep, it almost looks like death. It almost looks like you're not there. Like if you're swimming with a whale, we can't see you from the shore. You're not there, so it doesn't matter. But the truth is, the invisible part of us, the ocean part of us, is so much more of who we are than what's on dry land. The ratio is flipped. And if we have a profound relationship with that ocean of who we are, then when we do get up and walk on dry land, we can do it with a lot more peace. We're not afraid of what's going to pop out from behind a corner or what new. It's kind of like, oh, come on, I was swimming with the whales. Are you kidding me? You're
Yeah,
going to
right.
do a tax audit? Bring it, whatever.
So when we
Somebody
get out of the
doesn't like
whale,
me
we can also walk on water, not only on land. That's at least how we feel. We have that kind of conviction.
And
There's this.
that's it. That's the whole point. That's the whole, I mean, I think that I would dare say that that's the purpose of what you're doing with your radio show, with your books. It's like kind of the apex of where we're all coming from, so that we remember not just theoretically that we're spiritual beings having this human experience, but we feel it and we know it and we own it. And then we walk and it's all good. And then we can enjoy ourselves. It doesn't have to be so friggin' hard. And a lot of people I know are having a rough moment right now. And and I always say, instead of trying to proselytize and get people to do stuff, just put them all I carry them in my heart. And as I grow, I send it all to them. So we don't have to shake anybody up. It's just, we do our work, we lift up, and there's a ripple effect that happens, to use a water metaphor.
Being in the belly of a whale, there is this beautiful story, and it is a truth. Look it up. If you're not sure, always get on Google or YouTube and you will find anything you want. God is omnipresent. God is manifesting itself in the form of the internet. There is this beautiful story of a little girl who lives in some country, some way out country, not a lot of technology.
New Zealand. Is it the whale rider? Or is that
It's a
different?
little girl. She is able to summon the whales.
Yeah.
And people come from all over the world every year, whatever, to see her summons the whales. And they asked her, how do you call the whales? She says, I go inside of myself to the place where we all speak the same language.
Ho. Aho.
Right?
Okay.
That's like
Yeah.
mayonnaise on your sandwich. Right?
Okay.
My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. We're going to take a short pause. My friend Tanya says, wow, I always say and feel that I am on the river in the mountains. I am in the belly of the mountains. In fact, I saw you say that last night. Same idea. Mountains are majestic. Whales are majestic. We talked about elephants earlier. Elephants move things out the way and they have a phenomenal mirroring. If you want protection, live in the belly of a whale. You're good to go. Nothing's going to affect you. Not even the crazy humans, unless you, right? I am Keith Anthony Blanchard, Yanava, Center of Light Radio. Again, I want to announce and pray and say thank you, God, higher self, soul essence, whatever you are that represents all that is delicious and beautiful. Thank you for an uninterrupted broadcast that I hope, pray, accept, allow, and appreciate the finding of the troll.
Love them, bless them.
Love and bless that
beautiful
troll.
Contrast. Love that troll.
Yeah, right. And it teaches us everything. We're going to be right back. I thought life was really good until you walked by.
Thank you. Thank you. Are we complete or is that a break?
Did I
Greetings, my Broham and Sistar astronauts. Are you ready to launch to inner space? Yanavai here, speaking with another amazing product, Dream Leaf. Dream Leaf is a highly effective lucid dreaming supplement that creates the right neural environment for lucid dreaming to occur. It increases dream recall, dream vividness, and promotes high-level lucid dreams. It is composed of a red pill and a blue pill. Each pill plays an important role in the process of successful lucid dream induction. Dream Leaf targets and lengthens your natural REM cycle because this is the stage of sleep when lucid dreaming occurs. The two parts of this supplement are composed of natural herbs that strengthen the mind. The blue pill and the red pill contain 5 of the most effective lucid dream herbs. The blue pill promotes restful deep sleep, causes REM rebound effect, and elevates dream creativity. The red pill promotes lucid dreams, improves memory, dream recall, and increases dream control. I highly support this product. My ongoing experience with Dream Leaf is absolutely beyond this world.
Welcome to the desert, Neo. That commercial I just played for you, it was a Dream Leaf sleep enhancement products, and we're talking about dreams tonight. Coincidentally, coinkadink, take the red pill or the blue pill. You take the blue pill, you wake up in the morning and believe what you want to believe. Take the red pill, and I will show you just how far the rabbit hole goes. This product is redonkulously amazing. The first night I took it, I saw my deceased mother, my deceased brother, my godfather. It's all herbal. It's phenomenal. I'm going to have Connor Southworth on Center of Light Radio, I believe, next Tuesday night. Not sure. They're enhancing their product. It's phenomenal. If you love lucid dreaming, which brings God in you to the earth, like my guest Kelly Sullivan Walden said to mine, those experiences are gifts. They're light packets. They're packets of divine light saying, in this moment, I love you. Or I always love you. You're just receiving it. And we take those packets light back to where we are in our life. And we have to share it. We have to give it away because it doesn't belong to us. That product is pretty phenomenal. I love it. If you got 25 spare dollars a month to play in the realms of your soul, get in there and make a sandwich. Hello, baby girl.
Hello. Get on in there and make a sandwich.
Get in and make a sandwich. Yeah, we have a bunch of crazy words. When I play in my band, went after like 5 or 6 songs. I do all the sound and all that stuff, so I have to get settled. Once I get settled and I take my shoes off, it's on.
It's on.
I close my eyes, I spread my legs, and I put that bass up, and I just fall into bliss. And I just fall. And we call it digging in. We call it the zone, and we call it making a sandwich. Just silly musician stuff. We're bored, right? Welcome back to Center of Light, baby girl. How you doing? Things are
so
well?
Good. Yeah. It's pretty blissful getting to.
I know we're talking about your beautiful new product. How new is it, dear?
Just came out, I think less than a month ago. Maybe a little over a month ago. Is that true? Yeah.
I pose this question
pretty hot
to you.
Off the grill.
Anytime, I love it. Anytime someone comes up on my show with a new product, I'll always ask them this question. So let me ask you this: how long did you work on this project, from inception to the door?
Oh, well, I guess that all depends on what you consider conception. I've been working with dreams since for my whole life.
Well, trying to bring this particular card product.
Right. Well, from the time that it had been, the hero's journey was introduced to me like maybe 15 years ago, and I've been working on that and doing different workshops and seminars, and it's been weaving into my dream work for many years, a decade and a half at least. And I always wanted to create something with it, and so I've been kind of cultivating it without actually putting pen to paper necessarily. But from the moment, actually, Rasuli he's the artist, this amazing fusion artist who I love. He's the artist that did my first Dream Oracle deck. He and I were talking about our deck and how it was going, and he had just had a major heart attack and actually went to the other side and almost didn't come back, and he had a revelation on the other side. And he said, I came back and I thought, I want to do that Hero's Journey deck with you that you'd been talking about. And I was like, oh my God, that was so on my mind. I really want to create this. So knowing that he could pass away, knowing that death was kind of possibly near, he's fine by the way, he's doing awesome. But it pushed that project to the top of the list. And within a year, it was in our hands. From the moment we had that conversation to we wrote a bunch of it out, and he submitted it to his publisher, and his publisher, Blue Angel, they signed up and they said, let's do it.
Kelly, would you please, I've been so busy-minded, please give out your contact, your website, as well as the direct link to your cards. Tanya Carnwell said, is there a link? Oops, Keith dropped the ball. Please give that out, please.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. Okay, so my website is kellysullivanwalden.com. And if that's too hard to spell, you can go to ihadthestrangestdream.com. And there, if you sign up on my homepage, you get a bunch of free dreamy gifts, and you get notified about my radio show every week and some cool things. You get a link with a bunch of goodies that relate to the Hero's Journey Oracle deck, as well as the links to the direct product. But you can go to Amazon, you can go to barnesandnoble.com, and you can just put in the little search bar, Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. If you put in Hero's Journey Dream, it'll probably come up with this. But if you put Dream Oracle, for sure, you'll land right on it.
How much is the product?
Oh, good question. I think it's like $19.95.
Oh, dear Lord, that is nothing.
I know. I know. It's amazing. These are big. Yep. $23.95.
That's still nothing.
And on Amazon, they discount it like, I don't know, it's probably half that. Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon will tell you you could buy a used version. There's no used versions of my book on Amazon, but they sell the used version for
$19. You know what? We got to embrace that belly.
I embrace it.
Own that, because Amazon is definitely the future. So we just appreciate the fact that they can distribute our stuff far and wide and make it appealing for people to buy.
And you get a little bit of money and some business card. Yeah, you don't want to burn a bridge, especially with a corporation monster like that. When I wanted to finish the question I asked you recently, just a minute ago, was the reason I asked you from inception to the arrival.
Yeah.
I feel it's very important that the common folk, to use a word, those who are not artists or creators, so to speak, in the realm of writing books, writing music, oracle cards kind of thing. A lot of my guests, especially a dear friend of mine, when I announce him on my show, he doesn't really like it, and I respect his wishes. And we even had a dialogue on the air about it, about me being honest and real. He said, well, that goes straight to the ego. And I said, so fucking what? Right. I worked my ass off, my love off, my love in. The first book took me 8 years. The second one took me 15 years.
Wow.
And so it's not an ego stroke. For me, honestly, it brings home the tangibility, the realization, if you look at me and you know me, I'm just a knucklehead next door. I am no different than you. And if I can do it because I'm so in there with you, oh my God, this is possible for me. And I share my accolades and my creations with you so that you know that this is a very reachable goal. What does it feel like to be Kelly Sullivan Walden when you know it's coming and you hear UPS, right? And you get that feeling, and the feeling's starting, right? You're kind of getting into almost to the climax of the orgasm, right? And when you pop, no pun intended, pop the box open, open,
right?
What is the feeling you get as validation? Do you feel, this is what I feel, I swear to you, I feel this. When I open that, even though I know what's in it, I know what it's going to look like. When I open the box, I can literally feel the explosion of all the time I put into the craft, the project. When I open that box, all of that comes out for me at that moment. The explosion of all those diligent years of blood, sweat, and tears. Does it feel like that to you?
Oh, wow. Wow. On some level, yes. I think it's such a mix of things. It's always wonderful to manifest something. I love Elizabeth Gilbert, her book Big Magic. She talks about being a maker, being somebody who makes something that is out of like it didn't exist, and you thought about it, you did a few things, and now there's this thing that exists in the world, and it could potentially have perpetuity. It could like that's just so wild. So it's so satisfying to have worked on something, put my love, sweat, tears, blood, everything, and here it is. I think there's a part of me that always that reminds myself to make myself celebrate when it happens, because there's some part of me that's already onto the next project. I'm already in something else that I might not. I might skip right over it, and I have to make myself say, okay, this is a special moment. I'm going to do something to mark this. And because I think in some way the ego that would protect itself is kind of like, oh, okay, that's nice. Nobody's going to want that. There's a little bit of cynicism that could trickle in.
I love it. I think you're absolutely correct. It anchors it because you get the book. It's validation. It is a physical manifestation. But you going out and having a shot of tequila, hanging out with your friends, doing whatever you need to do to feel
Yes.
human. It's about, see, once you get something spiritual, the fluff is fantastic. Until
Right.
you make it into the meat suit, you don't ground it. So I love the idea that if I wrote a book for 5 years and it shows up at my door, I get the spiritual bang, the light as I described when you open the box and you get overwhelmed of all the work you put into it. Until you
Right.
go out and stomp on the ground and celebrate and dance and have a shot and hang out with your knuckleheaded friends, you
Yes.
don't anchor the energy on the earth. That's why when
Exactly.
you have an idea and inspiration, that airy-fairy stuff can float around in your consciousness all at once. But when you write it down,
Yeah.
you have
This
taken
is
the initiative to ground it and begin to manifest it. Would you agree with that, dear?
Oh my God. Yes. And it is a hero's journey to create something. You start off in the ordinary world, you get an idea, which is the call to adventure. And then the next thing that happens is the refusal to the call. The, oh my God, nobody's going to like this. This is stupid. I can't believe it. All that stuff. But you get a mentor or a higher guide, and you write it, and you go through the belly of the whale. You go through your challenges, and the reward is the book or the wisdom, or there's a place where you come to like, I own this. But it's not complete until you share your elixir. And the best way to share your elixir is to have it in some compact, easy way to hand it. Like you've got, music CDs or a little MP3 or a book or a show or something that is a means by which you share it. It's not enough just to have the wisdom that you earned and learned the hard way, or however you learned it or got it, but you got to share it. And there's such a joy in giving it back. And the hero's journey, the coming home with the elixir is the final stage. And to me, it is like, you have to do something. You have to stomp around with your knucklehead friends. I love that. I just found a picture. I posted it on Facebook yesterday. It was a picture from several years ago when one of my books came out. I think it was the Love, Sex, and Relationship Dream Dictionary. And it was a picture of my husband and my stepdaughter out to dinner at this fancy restaurant. And it was to celebrate that it was the day of the book launch. And the book went to bestseller that day, but it took a lot of work. It was a lot.
Love it.
And it would be so easy at the end of a day to just go, okay, I'm tired, I'm done, crash. But it was like, no, we're going out, we're going to celebrate. There's resistance always to doing something like that. But once you're out there, it's like, oh yeah. And now I have the memory. And I think that there's something about success, breeding success. If you feel successful, if you reward yourself at different intervals along the way, then you don't feel like you've got such an arduous journey ahead of you. It's kind of like, I'm doing this. It's not just that once I get there 5 years from now and I finish writing the book, then I'll celebrate. No, no, no. Create milestones, daily, weekly, monthly, first draft, second draft, third draft, celebrate. And then when the book comes out, holy God, you better have a party. Plan it all. And then the resistance fades away. There stops being so much terror at the putting something out there. It's like if you're celebrating as you go, then it becomes a little easier.
4 hours after my bestseller campaign was launched,
Yeah.
my marketing manager called me and says, Keith, is your computer open? I said, yes. She goes, go ahead and sit at your computer. I said, sure. I said, how's it going? She goes, well, that's why I'm calling you. Open up this tab, blah, blah. She goes, you see the ranking right there? I said, yes. She says, what number does it say? I said, it says 27. She goes, you are officially a best-selling author. And here was what I did to celebrate my humanness.
Woo!
What could be more human than saying the word fuck? I got all in my human shit. And I was it's just what came out of me. And it wasn't like slamming myself and karmicking myself to this experience. That word was not used with that intention. It was used with a joy and a power. I selected that word on some level on purpose. What word has any more punch than that?
Right. There you go. Oh,
and it
wow.
was so delicious.
Congratulations.
And you have any other thing that you're working on now, though this is still a fresh project for you. And you're getting into, what do you have? What is your next vision capacity for Kelly Sullivan Walden?
I've got, Blue Angel, they've invited me to do 2 more Oracle decks. So I'm working on Dream Goddess Oracle. So it'll blend dreams. Everything I do blends dreams, but this is with wisdom of the goddesses. And then I'm doing an awakened dreamer Oracle deck that has insights from that dreamy place that I think will help us be luminous in our humanness. And maybe there will be a luminous humanness deck. I'm not sure. But I'm also working on an autobiography, which is of a completely different vibe. It's more of like the kind of the mud that I came up from that. I was talking about my 20s coming into my spirituality. So many people have asked, I feel like I gloss over a lot when I tell how I kind of came through, but there were so many points along the way that I should have been dead or that I wished I was dead. And the spiritual path is not for wimps. And anyway, I'm writing an autobiography that's pretty gruesome and glorious, and it's satisfying some human part of me to be able to put words to these experiences and not just gloss them over like a little anecdote. So got all that going on.
Would you say, again, we go back to method and radical. Mm-hmm. Method is great. It's those who need method. You give me a screwdriver or an Allen wrench and you buy a piece of furniture at Walmart and ask me to put it together with an instructions manual, it's not going to happen for me. That's method. You tell me what I need to do. It's radical. Would you say a large part of spirituality, though it can be method-oriented, but when it comes down to, no pun intended, the nuts and the bolts, it's truly about jumping out of a perfectly good airplane? Don't you think we make our greatest leaps and bounds when we jump into nothing, into the void of the divine feminine? Just the nothingness of it all. I don't know what's going to happen. Congratulations.
I think there are points along the way, and I can think of one very specific point along the way in a meditation. I don't think for everybody they happen every day, but there was definitely one meditation I was in, it was right as I first met my husband. So it was almost 20 years ago. And I was in this wonderful, deep, deep, deep zone. And I felt myself crossing a line. Oops, can you hear me? I see that. Okay, I was crossing a line. There was it was as if there was this line I could cross. And if I crossed it, I would not be the same. And I knew there was more light across that line. And I was scared. I was definitely fighting with who's going to love me if I cross that line and I step into more of my light? I'm not going to be able to have any human relationships. Sure, I'll have all this light, but I'll be alone. That was my big fear. And then there was some part of me that said, fuck it, I'm going. Excuse my French. And I kind of threw myself over the
I
line.
speak the same French. We? You
I
know,
love French
that's
so much.
amazing you say that, because I had the same experience differently. I was in this experience one night. I walked into a castle. I was conscious. There were two freaking awesome looking women, and they were naked, and I began to scan them from their feet up, and when I got to their face, they were cat demon looking, and they were like, you want to get busy? And I said, yeah, no thank you. And they said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going outside. They said, you don't want to do that. The sunlight's going to burn you. I said, that's exactly why I'm going, because I knew it was a purification. So I get outside, and this begins to happen. And so I find myself literally moving through a wormhole. They do exist, just like you see in the movie Contact. I was in this wormhole, and I come to the end of it, and I'm in the void. There's nothing in the void, but in the void, there was an illumination. And the illumination was my own awareness. And I hear Keith look up, and I look up, and there are 12 angels circling, and they said, follow us, and they swoosh off, and their current pulled me with them. And I came to another, like you said, layer of enlightenment. And I knew it was the Godhead. And when I say layer level, it's not to imply a separation as if they're, but this is the mind at work. And I'm moving through all these layers of mind, and I knew the next, quote, layer was the Godhead. And they gave me a glimpse. They raised the curtain and shut it down. And they were dancing like in the second Matrix movie in the cave, when they were stomping on the ground, very primal and in that kind of energy.
I didn't know there was a second Matrix.
There's three. So they were just, they're dancing, and they're in the raw, and they're tribal, and they're primal, and they're around a fire kind of thing. And I was invited. Keith, you want to come in? And I said exactly what you said. I love the idea. I wasn't actively scared of what would happen if I entered. I did not want my aspect of what I knew as me lying on that bed a gazillion miles below to die. And I chose not to.
Oh my God, what a powerful, powerful dream. And again, it's kind of like life, but it's more intense and more vivid. You make a choice that is maybe the difficult, higher choice, and you're rewarded. And then it's higher and higher and higher, and then you just keep going up. But it's like there's not just, I think heaven isn't just a one-note thing. There's gradations, and how wonderful that you got to resist that temptation that, I don't know, necessarily, I don't believe in a devil per se, but I think that you resisted maybe your own lower energies, and you opted for something higher, and then this amazing adventure ensues. How powerful. Incredible.
I totally agree with you. I don't buy the devil card, because if you want to see who the devil is, look in the mirror. And your worst day and how you treat people, that's your devil. Now, if you want to understand, are there creatures in creation that have demonic qualities? Go to Walmart. Don't blame it on the invisible world. That is your mistake. That is your erroneous thinking. That is your illusion. Yes, there are beings on other levels who represent those qualities. But when we talk about demons and devil, it truly takes the perspective of seeing things correctly. It's erroneous. When you see things as, these beings are just of a lower vibrational level. It takes all the dogmatic crap off of it so you can actually understand and see it correctly. Would you agree with that?
Oh my God, only 1,000%. Well, I want to celebrate everybody's belief systems, and I don't want to, I think to each his own, and
Yes.
We choose a belief system based on where we're vibrating and what resonates with us. And I think it can change based on us changing. And once upon a time, I did have that belief. And it took something for me to grow into something else. And I do believe that this is a loving universe. And light it's like it's got a big, beautiful cosmic dimmer switch, and it goes all the way to the highest, brightest, burn your eyes because it's so bright, all the way down to off. And it's within us, it's external, it's internal. But I think from my perspective, anytime I put anyone or anything outside of myself, whether it be like a devil even if it's Trump or if it's whatever, I disempower myself. If I make them great, if I make them horrible and they're a they, then I weaken myself. I'm not responsible. It's like I suddenly am in victimhood, and dream work helps to overcome that. I think because dreams, we have to, it's easier to accept that we're everyone and everything in our dreams. It's harder for most people to accept that they are the mean neighbor, the person that cut them off, their mean boss, they're the president of the United States, whether they like him or they didn't, or it's harder to see that they are you. But if you practice in the dream world, then it becomes easier to do that. And then victimhood ends. It just friggin' ends. There's just no need for it anymore when it's all energies in here. And then it's like the bitter pill. The first time I ever accepted that, it was painful. I was like, no, because it was kind of fun to blame people because it made me feel good and innocent. And I got a little thrill. And yet I remained a victim. It was like on the victim, not so merry-go-round. But owning it is like swallowing a bitter pill, the red pill, I believe, and then having this experience of like, oh my God, it's all in me. Carl Jung, I love him, the great late father of psychotherapy, says that the whole purpose of psychotherapy is to get all aspects of you marching in the same parade, in the same direction, on the same day, playing the same song, like harmonizing together, all of you. And to me, it's not just the parts of me that are obvious to me, but it's the whole world that's in me coming together and finding their place in the band as we march down the road and have this grand old party. Somebody plays the tuba, somebody plays the bass, somebody sings, somebody just does the maracas, somebody's the stage manager, whatever. We all have our place, and hopefully we do it together. That's what I'm shooting for. That's what
I love, like you said, there are bad people in the world, but when you get into the blame game and the judgment game and it's not me and I'm not taking responsibility, in that moment, you are creating your own hell. Heaven is not a place in the stratosphere. Heaven is your life gone right on any level. Hell is your life gone wrong on any level. So I know people who live on earth, or I know people who, or the idea of people who live in jail, they don't feel imprisoned because they have learned to break out the hell of the mind which has been imprisoning them. And so, talking about this erroneous idea of a devil, for me it is. Because when I was Catholic like you, and I had a devil experience, I would wake up in cold sweats and I cannot come out of the experience fast enough.
And here's the thing. That fear, just like the reason people watch really scary movies and jump off cliffs and do death-defying things, it's addictive and it's seductive. And it makes you feel alive. Exactly. So there is a negative pleasure that we get from buying into the devil. Yes. And it's like, but once you know, oh, this is an ego trick, or it's my negative pleasure, then it's kind of it's a buzzkill, which is good.
Sure, and like, in my Catholic background, the devil, I am the devil. Oh my God, I can't run fast enough. And of course, the covers are on your feet, so you can't run. And physically, in your dream, you feel like you can't run. You wake up in cold sweat. They show up for me now. That's your ass. I'm going to turn into a ball of light and dive inside you, start hugging you and telling you I love you. They want no part of that. So it's changed completely. Or
I will say to a scary creature that comes into my dream, what gift do you have for me? What are you trying to teach me? What part of myself do you represent? What message do you have for me? And it's like, I see the generosity. They want to be recognized, heard. There's something valid about everything. And I'm not trying to push it away. I had a dream and I wrote this really intense poem, and I know this show's over in a minute. So next time I'm on, I'll read it to you, about dealing with those conflicting areas of myself and how I wrapped it up. But it's so powerful to, I don't know. There's a lot I can say. This is the shadow conversation is so meaty. And to me, it feels like it is the dividing line between the boys and the heroes, or the girls and the sheroes. This is what it's all about, owning this stuff. It's all inside of us. All of it.
Final thought?
What
And
a
your web
beautiful
address.
hologram that we are in, with all the light, all the everything in between. Being on this hero's journey with you is amazing. So be on it. Know that you're on a hero's journey, and be conscious of it so that you can stick to the path and like enjoy yourself and rock on it. My website is kellysullivanwalden.com, and there are free dream gifts, including my dream declaration meditation that you get for free from signing up. kellysullivanwalden.com.
Thank you for being here. You helped me christen the new show since we started, because I found the troll.
Love that troll. Ask him what his gift is. Maybe he's helping you appreciate that you're not him. I don't know.
And he did, and he also taught me patience.
Yeah. There's a little troll in all of us. Love that troll. Embrace that little troll and watch him grow up to be a nice big giant. A beautiful giant one day.
Thank you, precious. Kelly Sullivan Walden, kellysullivanwalden.com, her new project, Oracle Cards, The Hero's Journey Dream Oracle. Check her out. Please do that. I'm just a little befuddled right now. Long day. Let me get that. I want to get it right. The Hero's Journey Dream Oracle.
Yay!
She's always a joy
You're
to
my
be
hero.
around. You're lovely.
You're my
I'm going to
dream
invite you
hero.
back soon. Maybe we can do this a little more often. How's that?
Sure.
Yanava.
Yahanahavaha.
Yahanahavaha. It's ancient. That's how old we are. We're some old shits.
We're infinite.
My name is Keith Anthony Blanchard. I love you. I don't know who's going to be here next week. I'm not going to go through all that. I just want to say I love you. Welcome to Center of Light Radio. I am doing Tuesdays 9 p.m. Central Time and Wednesdays 7 p.m. Central Time. When you lay down at night and you have nothing to do, what else is there to do? Breathe. You breathe already. Now breathe consciously on purpose. Do that 10, 15 minutes. You fall into that amazing void of nothingness of Shiva behind me, the divine feminine, and suddenly you're in the belly of the whale. The infinite silence is so profoundly deafening, and you will hear the voice of God. God bless you. Peace, love, and light.